There will now be an opportunity for silent prayer or meditation. Thank you. May you be seated. Statements by members. Are there any member statements? Honorable Ngomana.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the African National Congress condemns in strongest possible terms the violent threat made by the members of the MK party. Honorable Speaker, we live in a democratic society that abides to rule of the law, and any threat of violence threatens our constitutional democracy. MK party members made a threat of a civil war, political unrest, and render the country ungovernable if they do not get a two-thirds majority in the coming election, or if things do not go their way. The newly formed party, which is associated to former President Zuma, a tribalist of note, has attracted to the so-called outlaws, construction mafias, traditionalists, and entrepreneurs. Honorable Speaker, we echo the words of President Ramaphosa that such barbaric acts of violence will face the full might of the law. We have arrested and convicted the 2021 instigators of violence, and we commit to leave no stone unturned if those threats materialize. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Shangwe.
Ngibonga kakhulu Somlomo. Ngibingelele nendlu yonke from executive kuya kumalunga ahloniphekile. Ngibongele statement esiphakamiswa ngumhlonishwa uNgomane. Statement lesi serious kakhulu as a South Africa under the new democracy. Ngicabanga ukuthi sonke uma sikhona la siyabona izinto zenzeka eSouth Africa kupolitics and otherwise. Ngifuna ukujoyina wena mhlonishwa by saying ukuthi le statement esikhishwe nguVivian from a KZN we MK is statement lesi engicabanga ukuthi ufuna ukubhebhethekisa udlame eSouth Africa under that new democracy. And ngifuna ukusho nje kumnikeza a strong warning to anyone else ongajoyina yena acabanga ukuthi lento eshiwo nguVivian izoke ivuke yenzekile eSouth Africa. Kukhona abantu eSouth Africa baye bacabanga ukuthi i-statement mazishiwo ngibo wonke umuntu waseSouth Africa uyayithanda uhambisana nazo, only to find ukuthi the majority of South African awahambisani nalento engayibiza ngesingisi ngithi nonsense. Akayazi impi, akakazi futhi abeyiphathi yempi, angeke agibele phezu kwebagon ye-MK and think ukuthi he will threaten us as South Africa. Ngifuna ukusho ke ukuthi kubonakele lokho kwenzekile eKZN ngoJuly 2021. Abanye bakhona njengoba sikhuluma baboshiwe. Sifisa ukuthi bagwetshwe, ijustice ithathe ikhiya izilahlele ngaphandle komnyango bese ba donate ka correctional services so that bazobona abantu eSouth Africa ukuthi ungacabanga ukuthi uma ngabe ume to a particular platform unabantu abayi15 abakulandelayo therefore you can want to control iSouth Africa over everything and anything as abahlali baseMpumalanga and as leaders of abantu baseMpumalanga sibambisaneni silwe nanoma ngayini into ezazama uku-undermine our democracy and the gains that we have up to so far. Thank you very much.
Let me remind honorable members, in terms of our rules, Rule 93, each statement is 1.5 minutes, and a response to a statement is 2 minutes. Are there any member statements, Honorable Mahlangu?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The ANC welcomes the landmark announcement by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency, which unveiled a strategic partnership with the Aspinall Foundation and its subsidiary, We Wild Africa. The groundbreaking initiative seeks to develop the Loskop Dam Nature Reserve and adjacent areas into one of the country's largest Big Five game reserve, heralding a new era of conservation and ecotourism in the region. Honorable Speaker, over a 25 years period, the partnership aims to revitalize reserve infrastructure, enhance conservation efforts, and drive economic opportunities for local communities situated in Mpumalanga. The Loskop Dam Nature Reserve spans approximately 23,500 hectares and is co-owned by the MTPA and local communities. Through the partnership, the project aims to introduce high-value ecotourism products and services while reintroducing iconic species such as lion, cheetah, black rhino, and elephant to the area. Honorable Speaker, this collaboration represents the beginning of a transformative journey for Loskop and its surrounding areas. As MTPA, we are committed to innovation and making a meaningful impact on the community residing around and within our reserves. The project is expected to unlock a minimum of 120 million in funding for the reserve and its surrounding areas, with plans to expand these reserves to at least 100,000 hectares by incorporating community and privately owned land. This will serve as a blueprint for future partnership in provincial reserves across South Africa. I thank you.
Honorable Hlophe.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me welcome the statement by Honorable Mahlangu. Indeed, as the MTPA, we want to see a situation where we grow our economy and the local people benefit from it. Indeed, we will take the advice and take the recommendation as indicated by Honorable Mahlangu. Thank you.
Honorable Mkabela.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to honorable members in the House. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters with a heavy heart to condemn in the strongest term the brutal murder of Thabelo Mbau, a Tshwane University of Technology Engineering student who was also a member of the EFF Student Command. Information at our disposal suggests a group of students, including Mbau, were socializing outside Kaile to student residents in the CBD area of Emalahleni. Police officers came and chased the students, shoved them, and dispersed them outside Kailitur student residences. While shoving them, Tabelo Mbao singled out and was violently assaulted by the 4 police officers. He was rushed to Witbank General Hospital for medical attention and later succumbed to his injuries. Police brutality towards students has now become common and strongly demonstrates that Mpumalanga consistently fails to protect its citizens from police brutality. The EFF condemns the action of the 4 police officers and calls upon the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison to ensure that the 4 complicated police officers are held accountable. Moreover, the EFF further urges the MEC, Honorable Vusi Shongwe, to ensure that such incidents do not repeat themselves in the future. We cannot allow the police force to undermine the rights of our people. The EFF extends its condolences to Tabelo's family, friends, and the students of the TUT Emalahleni campus at large. May his soul rest in peace. I thank you.
Honorable Shongwe.
Somlom, ngivumelane nomhlonishwa ngibingelele endlini. Ngivumelane nomhlonishwa ukuthi noma ngayini into violence eyaye ifike ekuthini kuhamba umphefumulo womunye umuntu, angaba mdala angaba mncane, angasebenza noma angasebenzi, siyayikondema kakhulu as a government of the day. Particularly the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison. The matter is in the hands of the Provincial Commissioner. Simcelile kakhulu ukuthi a thorough investigation be done in that particular space. Loya mntwana besabukile ikusasa le South Africa neMpumalanga in particular. Sithemba kakhulu ukuthi after a proper investigation, ngoba baningi abantu abatholakale ukuthi ba involve kuleya ntalo ya different stakeholders. Sicabanga ukuthi all of them will have to be investigated and check exactly ukuthi sabani isandla esingenzeka ukuthi siye sagcina senze kwahamba umphefumulo walomntwana. Silindile ke an investigation that is going to tell us exactly what happened into that space. And for your own information, Mhlonishwa, my girl also ugleyo institution lapaya ungibhalele message wangitshela the situation in that particular space ozalwa ngumfowethu ongilamayo. So we will leave no stone unturned. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Grobler.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to the House at large. Through you, Honourable Speaker, I would like MEC Slope just to listen very carefully because we need an answer on this one. MEC. I'm going to ask her and she's in another meeting, Speaker, so I'll give her a moment. Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, the Democratic Alliance revealed in 2022 that a tender cartel is infiltrating Mpumalanga government's infrastructure projects. Not only do they get to tender and develop and construct, but now the tenders are stretched further into rental of facilities and the management of the facilities. The Democratic Alliance has learned from the Mega's third quarter report that the main challenge by the entity is that the property developer and the landowner, although transfer is yet to be confirmed, of the Mpumalanga international fresh produce market will ultimately be responsible for rates and taxes, as well as the obligations following from the service level agreement. The DA's concern with this information is that the Mpumalanga international fresh produce market could have the same outcome as the mega office block. Therefore, the DA calls on MEC Slope to confirm who is the current property developer as well as the landowner of the Mpumalanga international fresh produce market. And is there any plan to transfer the project or the land to any private company, and deals in the pipeline whereby certain companies will be benefiting from either renting or servicing the facilities in the future? I thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Slope.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me welcome the question by Honorable Grobler. Indeed, we will make a written response in relation to the question in 7 days, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Weber.
Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus to deliver a member statement. The Freedom Front Plus applauds the MEC of Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, Ms. Mpumalanga Appropriation, for her initiative to introduce a new game fence in the Numbi area. This fence must prevent rogue elephants that escape from the Kruger National Park to gain access to the surrounding communities. This followed after a thorough assessment was done by SN Parks and the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Association, and building will commence in April. However, it is also imperative that the surrounding communities receive some kind of training and awareness campaigns on how tourism will benefit them, and how cutting fences and poaching in these reserves are detrimental to any future job creation. These campaigns should focus on indicating how tourism has contributed to the social, cultural, political, and economic value of Mpumalanga by showcasing what the sector has to offer them from a rural development perspective. Ecotourism has emerged as a promising avenue for sustainable development, offering opportunities for economic growth while protecting and preserving natural resources. By implementing sustainable practices and engaging local communities, we can create a model that fosters economic growth, preserves biodiversity, and enhances the well-being of rural populations. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Tope.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Weber. Indeed, as I indicated earlier, that as the MTPA, we are committed to the economic growth of our local people, in particular the rural people, as we indicated. We welcome the appreciation by your statement. Indeed, we want to see our tourists safe. We were not given number 2 by default in the country that we have attracted many tourists. It's because of our safety and our hospitality and our care. Indeed, we will continue to do well in our work as we indicated. Thank you.
Executive statements. I am informed that there are no executive statements. Motions without notice. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Masia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to move a motion without notice for this House to applaud the Mpumalanga Department of Education under the stewardship of Honorable MEC Majuba for their sterling work in so far for conducting election of school governing body that started on the 1st of March 2024 and is expected to be finalized on the 30th March 2024. As a member of the Executive Council in the province, acting in terms of Section 28 of the South African School Act, 1996 Act number 84 of 1996, the Honorable MEC has already published in the schedule here to regulate for this election of school governing bodies of public school in the province, as provided for uniform system for the organization and election of school governing bodies, to amend and repeal certain regulation relating to school and to provide for matters connecting therewith. We request all those parents who are legally entitled to custody of all learners to fully participate and exercise their rights as enshrined in the South African School Act, so that we make our school community a better place for our learners and also participate in improving the education of our learners. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. As so agreed. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Shongwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to yourself, to the Honorable Premier, the executive members, and the members of the legislature. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion without notice for this House to celebrate the International Women's Day with all the women of the world. The International Women's Day is celebrated annually on the 8th of March. The 2024 theme is Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress. It highlights the importance of gender equality, women's and girls' right empowerment, and their right to healthier lives. Noting, Honorable Speaker, that women have broken down the barriers and shattered glass ceiling in every field, from politics to science and to the arts. But despite their incredible achievement, women continue to face discrimination, inequality, and violence. Women are often paid less than men for the same work done, and they are underrepresented in positions of authority, power, and leadership. Further noting, Honourable Speaker, that the International Women's Day is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. It's a day to reflect on the progress we've made till this far on gender equality, and to recognize the challenges that still lies ahead for women. Honourable Speaker, as we commemorate this day, we must remember the tremendous contributions that women have made to our society, and to recognize the challenges that we are still facing. I so move.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. As so agreed. Honorable Nyembe.
Ngibingelele ngaphakathi komkhandlu. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the economic freedom fighters to commend and applaud the EFF in Mpumalanga for delivering a successful manifesto launch on Saturday, the 9th of March at Kanyamazane Stadium. The scores of the people of Mpumalanga that filled Kanyamazane Stadium prove beyond reasonable doubt that our people are longing for change, and they know that change lies with the EFF. The EFF remains the people's only hope for a better tomorrow, because the EFF is the only party that has a plan to change the lives of our people, a plan to create jobs, a plan to return the land to its rightful owners, and a plan to address the issue of load shedding. Indeed, 2024 is our 1994, and come 29 May, victory is certain. I so move. EFF yangena.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion agreed to. The motion is defeated. Are there any motions without notice? Honorable Khrovie Morgan.
Greetings, Honourable Speaker, and greetings to the House at large. I rise to deliver motion without notice on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. noting that the Stats SA General Household Survey has shockingly revealed that 77% of Mpumalanga residents are currently relying on social grants for survival. Further noting that 62.3%, a larger percentage of Mpumalanga's population, rely on social grants as a source of income as opposed to their salaries. The survey further revealed that a further 14.7% of Mpumalanga residents benefit from the COVID-19 distress grant. The Democratic Alliance believes that the social grant system is essential to protecting the poor from unemployment and economic instability. Noting further, the above statistics are gravely concerning, especially taking into consideration that the recent cost of living crisis, which has seriously affected households that rely solely on social grants as a source of income. I therefore move that this House adopts that government needs to create a conducive environment for businesses to thrive and create jobs so that our people can work for their own money and keep their dignity in place. And that the Department of Social Development revisits their outreach programs and increase assistance in the form of the number of people accessing food from community nutrition and development centers. I so move, Speaker.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? As so agreed. Honorable Weber.
Honourable Speaker, I've listened very carefully to everything that has been said this morning, and I'm tempted to react, but I will respectfully not do so. Madam Speaker, I rise on behalf of the Freedom Front Plus to deliver a motion without notice. Figures from the last 3 years show that Mpumalanga has the third highest number of kidnappings in the country. This is alarming, especially considering the fact that 85% of all reported kidnappings involve women and children as the victim. Just this week, a grade R learner from MO Mashego in Ekonhoek went missing. She was last seen going to school and never returned. In January this year, 2 female foreign nationalists were arrested in connection with child abduction in Mpumalanga. In the same month, a 42-year-old man was arrested in Ekonhoek in connection with the abduction of a woman. Human trafficking remains a pervasive issue in this province. Studies done by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crimes find that the surge in kidnappings is related to the substantial growth in violent and organized crime. To reduce these types of abductions, Mpumalanga's police must tackle organized crime. Intelligence-driven policing backed by dedicated investigation units and forensics can curb soaring levels of both crimes. I so move, Madam Speaker.
The question before the House is whether we agree to adopt the motion. Agreed to? As so agreed. Notices of motion. Are there notices of motion? Honorable Mlombo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to you and greetings to all honorable members and, in fact, the House at large. Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of the African National Congress to move a notice of motion regarding the plight of domestic workers. This debate, Honorable Speaker, is as a result of the brutal killing of a domestic worker in Secunda, Ms. Tryphina Mngomezulu. On the 2nd of March 2024, Ms. Tryphina Mngomezulu was allegedly mauled by 6 dogs of her employer at her workplace. Her family only learned about her death after 3 days, which is on Monday, the 4th of March 2024. In Groblersdal, Honorable Speaker, a father and a son, Mr. Piet Groenewald and Stephen Gief, were denied bail twice after they assaulted and shot dogs on their domestic worker. And many more cases, Honorable Speaker, are happening in this country and in this province. It is against that background that we therefore request the House to debate next week, as it will be Human Rights Day, that we use that day to debate on the plight of domestic workers in the province and in the country. We request that that debate should focus on how to prevent the cases of this nature in future, the legal prescripts to prevent the abuse of domestic workers, and also the role that this provincial legislature can play in ensuring that the legislation safeguarding the domestic workers are effective and accordingly enforced. I so move, Honorable Speaker. We request that we should not have we should have a full debate, not a what do we call it? A snap debate. We should not have a snap debate, but a full debate on the plight of domestic workers. Thank you very much.
The motion is noted and will be dealt with accordingly. Are there notices of motion? Formal motions. I am informed that there are no formal motions. We'll now proceed with the orders of the day. Orders of the day. The Secretary shall read the first order of the day.
Order number 1, introduction and tabling of the Mpumalanga Appropriation Bill 2024.
I now call upon the MEC for Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, the Honorable N.E. Hlophe, to deliver the introductory speech and table the Mpumalanga Appropriation Bill 2024.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me greet you, Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier Refilliam Tsweni, Honorable Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, and the Leader of the Official Opposition, Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Finance, Economic Development and Tourism, Honorable Tomo, colleagues in the Executive Council and honorable members of the provincial legislatures, members of the Mayoral Committee on Finance and all councillors present, Acting Director General, Mr. Peter Nyoni, Head Official of Provincial Treasury, Ms. Gugu Mashiteng, and all heads of departments, Chairperson of the House of Traditional Leadership, and all members, Leader of the Governing Party, Comrade Chirwa, and alliance partners, the leadership of businesses, organized labor, faith-based organization, youth and women formation, and civil society. Pastors present here, in particular, Pastor Reverend Dr. Mkhaladi, citizens of Mpumalanga and all guests present here, Honorable Speaker. Lochan. I have an honor of tabling the 5th provincial budget of the 6th administration. As we stand here today to present this budget, I am reminded, Honorable Speaker, of the profound legacy of our heroes who have paved the way for the development and progress of our great nation. We are inspired by those who sacrificed, fought, and contributed to the rich tapestry of our history. Winnie Madikizela Mandela, an iconic woman and freedom fighter, played a a pivotal role in the struggle against apartheid. Her strength and dedication continue to serve as a beacon of our commitment to gender equality, hence the allocation to programs that empower women, thus ensuring their active participation in all facets of society. Albertina Sisulu, a stalwart in the fight against oppression, inspires us to invest in education. By allocating resources to education, we honor her legacy and contribute to the development of a skilled and empowered citizen. Steve Biko, an advocate for Black consciousness, reminds us of the importance of addressing the socio-economic disparities that persist in our society. This budget, Honorable Speaker, prioritizes programs that uplift marginalized communities and fostering economic development and social cohesion. By allocating resources wisely and justly, we carry forward their legacy and contribute to the prosperous, equitable, and inclusive province for all its citizens. On economic landscape and outlook, Honorable Speaker, our performance in the last 5 years exemplifies the potential of our country and province, our growth prospects, and our fiscal health in pursuit of these ideals. South Africa's average annual economic growth was less than 1% between 2019 and 2023. This performance is attributed to COVID-related factors, geopolitical tension, and domestic risks such as load shedding, logistical constraints, and other structural challenges. Accordingly to the figures released by the Statistics SA on the 5th of March 2024, South Africa's GDP grew only by 0.6% in 2023, with negative growth in key sectors such as agriculture and trade. The province's economic growth has been in line with the national growth performance and expectation in the last couple of years. The province experienced a negative growth rate of 0.1% in 2019, followed by the contraction of 5.3% in 2020 due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. No one was spared the wrath of this global pandemic. Although the economy recovered in 2021 with a growth rate of 5.2%, it declined to 0.6% in 2022 and dropped further to an estimate 0.4% in 2023. The services sector, except transport, experienced moderate growth between 2019 and 2023, whereas the primary and secondary sectors recorded negative growth rates in the same period. Honorable Speaker, agriculture experienced the highest growth rate of all industries, while mining, construction, and manufacturing industries contracted in this period. We are optimistic that our economy will rebound to the least 1% in 2024. We expect the provincial growth rate to be around 2% annum from 2025 to 2027. Honorable Speaker, the last 5 years have been challenging in terms of job creation. We regrettably lost too many jobs in 2020, 2021 due to COVID-related factors. However, as Honorable Premier Madam Refilwe Mtsweni-Tsipane indicated in the State of Province address on the 1st of March 2024, and I quote, she said, "We are in the session or rather in the season of jobs, and more jobs, close quote. Accordingly, to the latest quota labor force survey, the province recorded net job gains totally of 197,681 in 2022 and 23, which is an outstanding performance under these difficult economic circumstances. All industries contributed to this achievement except agriculture and transport, which recorded job losses in the same period. The fourth quarter labor data shows almost 48,000 net job gains for the province. In terms of spending outcomes and transformative procurement, Honorable Speaker, over the past 5 years, the provincial government spent 259.6 billion towards employment, advancing inclusive education, health, economic development, and fight against crime, to mention a few. Our efforts were aimed to ensure that no one is left behind in the pursuit of a better life for all. We will continue to this journey of progress as we strive to build a better tomorrow for all. Honorable Speaker, last year's State of the Province address was seminal in its pursuit of transformative procurement targets. Of the awarded bid to the tune of 10.7 billion in just 9 months of the 2023-24 financial year, 4.1 billion was spent on enterprises of women, youth, and people with disabilities, exceeding the 2023 SOPA target by 8.5%. The new public procurement bill is currently undergoing public participation. Once passed, it will create an enabling policy environment that will raise the bar on the transformative procurement in the coming years. I will now reflect on the fiscal outlook and spending priorities for the 2024-25 financial year. In terms of provincial fiscal outlook, Honorable Speaker, the province's own revenue collection is anticipated to grow by over 60%, from 1.5 billion in 2019-20 to 2.4 billion in 2023-24, as at the end of January 2024. Motor vehicle registration and licensing, interest from banking account, and licensing fees on betting, casino, and horse racing, gambling were the primary contributors to this enhanced collection. We appeal to all department and public entities to invest in revenue enhancement projects to assist the province in expanding services to its citizens. The overall budget that we are tabling for the 2024-25 fiscal year is 61,608,377,000, with 80% coming from equitable share, 16.4% from conditional grant, and 3.3% from provincial own revenue. In terms of economy, investment, and employment, Honorable Speaker, 8,490,416,000, or 14% of the provincial budget, is allocated to the economy, investment, and employment cluster to generate productive opportunities for our people and ensure balanced economic development in the province. The budget of the Department of Economic Development and Tourism amount to 1,413,528,000. Of this amount, 167.7 million is for completion of the Mpumalanga fresh produce market. The total budget of the department includes various allocations to public entities within this vote, that is Mpumalanga Economic Regulator, Mpumalanga Economic Growth Agency, and Mpumalanga Tourism Parks Agency. The Department of Agriculture, Rural Development and Land and Environmental Affairs, the DATLA, is allocated 1,513,968,000. Included in this allocation, Honorable Speaker, is 54 million to operationalize the Mpumalanga Fresh Produce Market and 73 million for Santiago Tea Estate, which includes an agro-processing plant and irrigation system for 140 hectares of land, amongst others. The Department of Public Works and Roads and Transport receives 5,562,920,000 to build and strengthen infrastructure project pipeline across all sectors. This budget includes, Honorable Speaker, 128.5 million over the MTF for the appointment of traffic officers for transport regulation who've already completed their training, and 40 million to augment the budget cut on scholar transport. Planning and design for Emalahleni Interchange Bridge has been completed to this end. We allocate 120 million for its construction and 40 million for the 3 Copies Bridge project. 1.6 billion from the Provincial Road Maintenance Grant is allocated towards the improvement of the provincial road network. In terms of governance and administration cluster, Honorable Speaker, 4,200,384,000, or rather 6.8% of the budget is allocated to this component to support efficient policy implementation, regular compliance, and service delivery for the people of Mpumalanga. The Office of the Premier is allocated 456,902,000 to ensure effective coordination of intergovernmental structures and provide leadership on key strategic performance and service delivery programs. Over 300 million is allocated towards the Premier's Youth Development Fund over the MTF. Provincial legislature receives 519,013,000 to enhance democracy and other legislative activities. This allocation includes 115 million over the MTF for costs related to the additional 21 members of provincial legislature after the 2024 election. 560,178,000 is allocated to the provincial treasury to ensure efficient resource allocation, maintain fiscal discipline, and support provincial departments and municipalities on transversal financial system. The provincial treasury is working together with allied institutions to forge constructive collaboration and plans to address challenges at the local government level. In his budget speech, the Minister of Finance alluded to the new 2 billion conditional grant over the medium term to fund the rollout of smart prepaid meters, starting with municipalities that have been approved for debt relief. We will work with COGTA and SALCA to assist all the 10 municipalities that have been approved for this relief program to access this grant. Honorable Speaker, 1,877,152,000 is provided to the Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison to secure public infrastructure, ensure the safety of communities and road users, and strengthen law enforcement initiative in the province while supporting community-related services such as motor vehicle licensing, amongst others. As pronounced by Honorable Premier in the State of the Province address, the province will work with SANDF and other stakeholders to increase the visibility of law enforcement. 150.6 million has been added over the MTF for this purpose. The Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs gets 787,139,000. This allocation includes 68.3 million for reconstitution of the Traditional Council and completion of renovation of traditional leadership homestand, and 42.6 million for the replacement of the aging fleet for traditional authorities. The overall budget of COGTA is meant to strengthen support to municipalities through system enhancement, sound governance, and working with other stakeholders to improve service delivery. In terms of social services cluster, Honorable Speaker, social sector spending shapes the general well-being and future prospects of our communities. For these reasons, 47,433,814,000 or 77% of the budget is allocated to the cluster. The highest share of the provincial budget, amounting to 26,369,335,000, which is the 43%, goes to the Department of Education. Included in this allocation is 866 million to cover the wage cost carried through over the MTF period, 1 billion as an adjustment baseline in order to augment the cuts on core business in terms of over the MTF, 32.4 million for the operationalization of Mkondo Boarding School, 126 million for the implementation of e-learning program, 100 million towards the School of Deaf and Blind. In terms of the Department of Health, Honorable Speaker, receives 18,697,171,000 to ensure access to quality and equitable health care services. Included in this allocation is 2.9 billion to cover the wage carried through over the MTF, 102.5 million for the operationalization of new clinics, and a further 23.9 million for the 24-hour operational clinics, as pronounced by the Honorable Premier in the State of the Province address over the MTF. 42.1 million is added for the intake of 30 medical officers and 29 million for the operationalization of new Middelburg Hospital. The budget affirms the role of culture and sport in promoting human rights and the value system of a truly democratic state. And accordingly, Honorable Speaker, the Department of Culture, Sports and Recreation receives 652,496,000 to promote social cohesion, preserve our heritage, and harness the artistic capacity of the province's youth. Included in this allocation is 31 million to enhance library services across the province and implement effective library information management system, and 30 million for the initial phase planning and design of the state-of-the-art arena. We will We will work with the National Department of Sports and Arts and Culture in this regard. The Department of Social Development, Honorable Speaker, is allocated 1,714,812,000 to expand access to social assistance and protect vulnerable groups within our communities. Included in this allocation is 158.3 million will cover the wage carried through over the MTF, 50 million adjusted to the baseline to augment the cuts on the social services operation. We are increasing the rates of disbursement to the non-profit organization, the NPOs, that care for the elderly and people with disability from 1,800 to 3,600. To this end, Honorable Speaker, 98.4 million is allocated for this purpose in this financial year. Our intention is to progressively increase the allocation for the NPOs over time. The department has set aside funds within its baseline for the operationalization of Msokwabo and Danji Youth Center. One $1,483,763,000 is provided to the Department of Human Settlement to provide decent shelter, continue with the program of upgrading informal settlement, and ensure security of tenure for communities. The department will have to expedite its build program in order to qualify for more innovative. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, we appeal to all departments to use this budget as a tool for growth and development in the province. The management and oversight structure must ensure that their institution maintain effective system of internal controls and budget management. As Benjamin Franklin once said, and I quote, "Beware of little expenses, a small leak will sink a great ship," close quote. Let us use the public resources wisely, navigate towards prosperity for all the people of Mpumalanga. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to express my profound appreciation to the Honorable Premier, Madam Refilwe Mtsweni-Tsipane, for her leadership throughout the preparation of this budget. Thank you, Honorable Premier. To my colleagues in the Budget and Finance Committee and the Executive Council, thank you very much, colleagues, for your support towards this budget. Many thanks to the Chairperson, Honorable Tomo, and the Portfolio Committee members on Premier's Office, Finance, Economic Development and Tourism for your support whenever we present ourselves for your guidance. I would also like to convey my gratitude to the Acting Director General, Mr. Nyoni, Head Official of Provincial Treasury, Ms. Mashiteng, and the entire team for your support in preparation to this budget on behalf of the people of Mpumalanga. Finally, I would like to thank my glorious movement, the African National Congress, for entrusting us with this public responsibility. Mhlonishwa Somlomo, ngokukhulu ukuzithoba, ngithanda ukuthula nanyana ukuveza i-budget speech, ne-appropriation bill, ne-estimated provincial revenue document ngaphambi kwendlu. Ngiyathokoza ngethuba.
Thank you, Honorable MEC, for the well-delivered speech. The Mpumalanga Provincial Main Appropriation Budget Speech, 2024-2025, the electronic copies, Mpumalanga Appropriation Bill, 2024, Mpumalanga Estimates of Provincial Revenue and Expenditure for 2024-2025 stand referred to the Portfolio Committee on Premise Office, Finance, Economic Development, and Tourism for consideration and report back to the House. That brings us to the end of today's business. You are all requested to remain standing at your places until the procession has left the chamber. The House is now adjourned until Tuesday, the 19th of March 2024 at 10 o'clock through the Microsoft Teams virtual platform.
Wat het sê van die fresh produce market?
So the fresh produce market, the mega,
Yeah.
the MTPA,
It's all budgeted for.
so I think we just need to check the amounts because I think the ones that are here, Rise that they will want to do. Ooh la la! I didn't see her. Ooh
Yeah.
ooh la la! Ooh la la!
They said Cinderella.
You la la! Ooh la la! Ooh la la! You haven't spoken to Speedy.
Last walk. You say it all went well. You went in there.
Yes, we went
Oh,
in there.
wonderful.
Yeah, I went in. Yeah, I went in. But she was just doing the visuals, as I
Okay,
said.
yeah.
She was just doing the visuals because I think for the voice they will use the press briefing.